Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Sababa Safur Ahmed. The topic for today is common conversational phrases that cannot be used in written English. If I were to ask you, how is the weather today? You would have probably replied me, it is kind of hot today. Now, if I were to instruct you to write down how is the weather today, you would have probably written, it is kind of hot today. Now, look at that line. Does it look very formal? No, it doesn't. On the other hand, we know written English is formal compared to that of spoken English. So, do you not want to make it formal? Do you not want to upgrade it? Then this video is definitely for you. Since we know that written English is formal, it requires the usage of formal words and phrases rather than daily conversational phrases and words. Conversational phrases is a group of informal words that we use in our daily conversation. For example, what's up? কথা বলার সময় আমাদের বন্ধুদের সঙ্গে কথা বলার সময় আমরা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ সচরাচর ব্যবহার করে থাকি। কিন্তু রিটেন ইংলিশের ক্ষেত্রে আমরা কখনো হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ বা এরকম ধরনের কনভারসেশনাল ফ্রেজেস অ্যান্ড ওয়ার্ডস ব্যবহার করে থাকি না। So, what is the strategy? It's very simple. Write as you would and then search for words and phrases to replace. In that case, you need to avoid certain things. Now, let us look onto those things. Number 1, avoid conversational words and phrases. Avoid transitions like actually, basically, very, really, with more formal transitions like in a sense, essentially, and in fact. For example, focus on the sentence. Graphic designing seems very difficult, but actually, it's very simple. Now, this will make your writing very informal. Instead of actually, you can simply write, graphic designing seems very difficult, but in a sense, it's very simple. Next, avoid imprecise quantifiers like kind of, totally, with words like partially and somewhat. For example, it is kind of hot today. It is informal and cannot be used in written English. Instead of that, you can simply write, it is somewhat hot today. Next, try to avoid imprecise amounts like a bunch of with words like few, significant, a significant number of. For example, a bunch of people is roaming around the city. Well, it is informal and is not suitable for written English. Instead of that, you can simply write a significant number of people is roaming around the city. Number 2, avoid the language of public speaking. Certain words and phrases are used in public speaking. Using these words and phrases in written English will destroy your entire writing. For example, instead of saying, as I mentioned earlier, you can write as the previous section explored. Number 3, avoid generalizations and cliches. Generalizations are usually too broad. Instead of generalizations, use more simpler and more specific words. Also, try to avoid cliches. For example, she runs at the speed of light. এই সেন্টেন্সটা আমাদেরকে যদিও বোঝাচ্ছে যে মেয়েটা খুব ফাস্ট দৌড়ায়, কিন্তু কেউ কখনো লাইটের স্পিডে দৌড়াতে পারে না, যার জন্য অরিজিনাল মিনিংটা ম্যানিপুলেট করা হচ্ছে। তাই instead of using she runs at the speed of light, we can write she runs fast. It's simple. 4, try to avoid the word you. In case of spoken English, you do have an audience in front of you. and you can simply use the word you. However, in case of written English, instead of writing you, mention your targeted audience. For instance, your targeted audience are the adults. So you can simply write the adults or the people or as per your targeted audience. Number 5. Avoid the words that express value judgments. I'll give you 3 examples in this case. First of all, replace the word bad with harmful, destructive, insufficient, etc. For example, instead of writing alcohol is bad for health, you could simply write alcohol is harmful for health. Furthermore, replace the word wrong with words like unfair, unethical, etc. This will make your words more formal and more suitable for written English. Thirdly, instead of using words like insane, crazy, you can use words like harsh and irrational. Number 6. Try to avoid flowery adjectives. So, try to avoid adjectives like gorgeous, wondrous, wonderful, amazing. These only look good and fancy when you speak. However, when you use them in your writing, it will make your writing more informal. For example, instead of writing the sentence, she looks fabulous, you could just write, she looks smart and businesslike. However, there are definitely a few exceptions. For example, dialogue writing. Dialogue writing একটি স্পিচ রাইটিং। সো সেখানে আমরা স্পোকেন ইংলিশটা রিটেন ইংলিশেই লিখে থাকি। সো সেখানে আমরা কনভারসেশনাল ওয়ার্ডস অ্যান্ড ফ্রেজেস অবশ্যই ইউজ করতে পারি। Furthermore, transcripts. Transcripts are the written form of lecture, conversation, and many more. সেখানেও আমরা conversational words and phrases use করে থাকতে পারি। And last but not the least, we can also use conversational words and phrases while we refer to the exact words of a person that is enclosed in an inverted comma. So this was all for today. Thank you.